There is a question that haunts every car enthusiast, a question that sits right at the intersection of memory and innovation. Can you truly resurrect a ghost? We are currently living through the most aggressive shift in automotive history. We are watching legendary internal combustion engines disappear, replaced by silent motors and skateboard battery packs. Usually, when a massive manufacturer tries to bring back a classic nameplate from the past to slap it on a futuristic electric car, it feels wrong. It feels like a soulless marketing gimmick. But in 2026, something is happening that might actually change the rules of the game. A brand that has been dead for 44 years is rising from the grave. I am talking about the Scout. For those of you who know your history, the name Scout means something specific. It smells like gasoline, old canvas, and mud. It represents a time when an SUV wasn't a luxury status symbol. It was a tool. But the 2026 revival is not running on gas. Is this the perfect fusion of nostalgia and future tech? And the controversy of the 2026 Scout Traveler and Terra, to find out if the future can actually respect the past. To understand why this vehicle is going to break the internet when it hits the roads, we have to look backward. In the 1960s and 70s, International Harvester was a farm equipment company. When they built the original Scout, they didn't design it in a wind tunnel for efficiency, they designed it with a ruler. It was boxy, heavy, and practically indestructible. It was the grandfather of the modern SUV, arriving before the Ford Bronco became an icon. But by 1980, the dream was over. The company stopped making passenger vehicles, and the Scout became a legend, kept alive by a cult following. Volkswagen Group now owns the rights. They created a standalone American company to build a dedicated platform. This is where the nostalgia versus future war begins. Let's talk about the design. In an era where every electric car looks like a melted bar of soap to cheat the wind, the 2026 Scout looks tough. It looks like a brick. And that is exactly what the market is screaming for. The designers understood a crucial psychological point. Aerodynamics are efficient, but boxy is emotional. The 2026 model features a short front overhang, a long hood, and a flat roofline that pays direct homage to the original 1970s models. But look closer, and the future bleeds through. The lighting signatures are thin, digital, and aggressive. The grille is no longer an air intake. It is a masterclass in Restomod aesthetics, making something look old school, but building it with modern precision. They have captured the silhouette of the past while utilizing the manufacturing tolerances of the future. But now, we must address the elephant in the room. The original Scout was powered by noisy, vibrating engines that had character. The 2026 Scout is an EV. They argue that the soul of a machine comes from the mechanical connection. However, looking at this objectively as experts, we have to admit that electric torque is actually superior for what the Scout is built to do, if roading. When climbing a rock or navigating a technical trail, you don't want to worry about keeping an engine in the power band. You want instant, controllable torque at 0 RPM. That is exactly what electric motors provide. The rumored specs suggest a 0 to 60 time of under 3.5 seconds with nearly 1,000 pound-feet of torque. That is not just fast. That is supercar territory in a truck that can wade through 3 feet of water. This is the argument for the future side of the debate. We are on losing capability. We are gaining superpowers. However, the engineers at Scout anticipated the anxiety about range. They knew that hardcore overlanders do want to be tethered to a charging station deep in the wilderness. So, they introduced a piece of technology that bridges the gap between the 1970s and 2026. They call it the Harvester system. This is an optional range extender, a small gas-powered engine that doesn't drive the wheels but acts as a generator to recharge the battery while you drive. This is brilliant marketing and engineering. It allows the vehicle to offer the silent power of an EV, but with the safety net of gasoline for long-distance adventure, it effectively silences the biggest criticism against electric trucks. Let's move inside the cabin because this is where the nostalgia versus future battle is usually lost. Most modern cars have replaced every button with a touchscreen. You have to navigate 3 menus just to turn on the air conditioning. It's dangerous and annoying. The 2026 Scout is taking a stand. While it has the requisite high-definition screens for navigation, they have kept physical buttons, actual tactile switches, and toggles for the climate control, and the mechanical lockers. Why does this matter? Because it connects the driver to the machine, mimics the mechanical feel of the 1970s original. It respects the fact that when you are driving, you want to use muscle memory, not eye coordination. This creates a digital-analog hybrid interior. It offers the connectivity of a smartphone but the tactile satisfaction of a vintage cockpit. This trend needs to continue. It proves that technology doesn't always mean removing features. Sometimes true luxury is keeping things simple. We also need to look at the chassis dynamics. Unlike many modern crossovers that are unibody construction, basically tall sedans, the 2026 Scout retains a body-on-frame design. Even more surprisingly, it keeps a solid rear axle. For the non-mechanics listening, a solid axle is old technology. But it is preferred for extreme off-roading because it is durable and keeps the tires planted on uneven ground. By keeping this ancient tech, Scout is signaling to the enthusiasts that they haven't sold out. They are using a mixture of the old world chassis and the new world powertrain to create something unique. Of course, there is a valid critique regarding economics. The original Scout was a vehicle for the people farmers and young explorers. The new Scout is positioning itself in a higher price bracket, competing with premium rivals like Rivian. This raises a question about the future of car culture. Are we pricing enthusiasts out of the hobby? The technology required to make a vehicle this safe, fast, and capable is expensive. The nostalgia reminds us of a time when cars were simple and cheap. The future reality is that safety regulations and battery costs have changed the landscape of ownership. However, from a safety perspective, this evolution is undeniable. The original trucks were dangerous by modern standards. The new platform utilizes zoning architectures and advanced driver assistance systems that can predict accidents before they happen. It uses cameras and LiDAR to see the road better than a human can. While we miss the simplicity of the past, we cannot argue against the fact that the 2026 Scout will protect your family in ways the original never could. That is the trade-off of progress. So where does this leave us? Is the 2026 Scout a cynical cash grab, or is it a respectful revival? When you look at the total package, the mechanical lockers, the retro styling, the range extender, and the raw performance, it becomes clear that this wasn't designed by a committee of robots. It was designed by people who love cars. They have used the future technological electrification and software to enhance the nostalgia, not replace it. They have realized that the car of 2026 doesn't need to look like a spaceship to be advanced. It can look like a memory. It can feel like an old friend. The viral nature of this car, the reason everyone is talking about it, is because it represents hope. It represents the hope that even as the world changes, even as engines go silent, the spirit of adventure and the aesthetics of the past don't have to die. They can evolve. Whether you are a die-hard petrolhead who refuses to plug in, or a tech enthusiast ready for the next big thing, you have to respect the audacity of this project. The 2026 Scout is trying to do the impossible. Please, everyone. And for the first time in a long time, it looks like they might actually pull it off. But I want to know what you think. Is the electric powertrain a deal breaker for a legend like this? Or is the harvester gas generator the perfect solution? Does the design honor the history, or is it just another retro trend? Let me know in the comments below, because the future of car culture is being written right now, and we are all along for the ride.